Welcome to the Nutrition Collaborative podcast, where we cut through the noise, bust the myths, and bring you nothing but truth about health, fitness, and everything in between. I'm Alec Moore, dietitian, and each week we'll dive into what really works when it comes to achieving lasting health and fitness. No gimmicks, no BS, just real talk, real success stories, and a holistic approach to living your healthiest life. Whether you're here for practical tips, inspiration from real client journeys, or just to find out what's actually worth your time, this is the podcast for you. Let's break it down, get empowered, and focus on what truly matters for your health. Today, in episode 1 of the all-new NC podcast, is all about longevity. Longevity on this journey we call health and fitness. Now, when it comes to longevity, what am I talking about? I'm talking about pace at which you work through your health and fitness journey. What is realistic for you? What is sustainable for you? And I'm going to use 75 hard as an example, not knocking them or knocking that approach or that challenge. It is a challenge, but where I think we are going wrong is we continue with all of the data that we have out there, all the scientific information that we have out there on a healthy lifestyle. We are still stuck in the quick fix mindset. We are still stuck in, ooh, this next best thing. Ooh, this next best trend. Ooh, this fad, that fad. Have you tried this diet? Have you tried that? There is no sustainability in any of those things. If it is a trend, if it is a fad, if it is a challenge of like 75 hard, there is zero sustainability in that. How many of you listening have heard your friend or a spouse or a loved one or heard someone in your circle, oh, I'm doing this 75 hard, and they quit after 45 days? Or maybe, you know what? Maybe they do make it through and they go 75 days. What do they do after? Do they continue working out twice a day every day? Do they continue staying away from alcohol? Do they continue reading a book? Do they continue to prioritize a nutritional focus? A strong majority do not. We have to put an end to these quick fixes. I am all for them if they do help launch your health and fitness journey. If you're able to find a sustainable path after the challenge or the fad or whatever the case may be. But how many of you know someone who has done keto or has done paleo or has done carnivore or XYZ? They've lost the weight, they've rebounded it back. They've gained it all back and more than where they started from. If I was in a room with you listeners right now, I think almost every single one of you would have your hands up. It is extremely common. The science on it is over 88%. I believe it's over 90%. Don't come after me if I'm wrong on that, but it's between 88 and like 93% of dieters who follow up some sort of quote unquote trend or fad diet of some sort gain everything back after they've lost weight and more. It is ridiculous. So we have to stop comparing ourselves to those who are doing 7 days a week of training. We have to stop comparing ourselves to those who are following XYZ diet. And we have to focus on ourselves as an individual, no matter what our lifestyle looks like, no matter what our responsibilities look like. Do we have kids? Do we not have kids? Do we have pets? Do we not have pets? What does your specific lifestyle look like right now? And what outcomes do you want? Okay, let's set your sustainable path toward that outcome. You do not need to do it 7 days a week. I would much rather you train or do cardio 2 days a week if you can do it for the rest of your life versus 3 to 4 hard months of 7 days a week and then doing nothing for months or years. You know, we all know those people, right? I'm trying this, I'm trying that. I'm bouncing between this and that, or I'm finding the next best thing. They're always searching for something. They're always looking for what is working. That's the problem. We don't search for it, we create it. Okay? We can't sit here and dilly-dally like that. You know, at the end of the day, you're just spinning your wheels. Okay? And I hate to break it to you, but I love to break it to you because I feel it's extremely important to know that. I, as a registered dietitian, fitness coach over the last several years, have found most success in those who train 2 to 4 days a week and have time to spend with their kids and have time to, bond with their family on the weekends versus those who are 7 days a week, no matter who they are. None of that matters. The individuality is what matters most, and whatever is sustainable for that individual. Where we should be headed We should be headed further away from the idea and mindset of grind every single day, no days off mentality. You will burn out, you will exhaust yourself, and you won't get the results you want. So why even try it in the first place, right? The title of this podcast episode is Set Your Sustainable Standard. Your specific sustainable standard. What is your high standard for yourself that is sustainable for the rest of your life? That is what we need. That's the question that needs answered for each individual person. And I don't care what Jimmy does. Let me rephrase that. Hey, Jimmy, I don't want you to care about what Billy is doing. Focus on you. Okay. I don't care if he's doing 7 days a week. He doesn't have kids, right? You do. I don't care. He has a desk office. You have a, intense labor job that requires a lot of physical and mental output and stress resiliency. So why would you train 7 days a week when your lifestyle looks far drastically different than Billy's? Jimmy, my little example friends there, Jimmy and Billy. So here's the thing. I have so many people. Hey, Alec, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this supplement or this diet or 75 hard? Are you familiar with it? Yeah, I'm very familiar with it. And I can't stand it because it doesn't give you the tools to success. It just tricks you into thinking that you have to be obsessive compulsive 7 days a week forever to get any result. And if it's just to kickstart your journey, sure, as long as you find a sustainable standard after, okay? You have to prioritize yourself in this madness of social media, information, misinformation, right? You've got to prioritize yourself. So I think it's important to recognize that for yourself. And if you start comparing yourself to someone else, if you catch yourself, well, that's what I want you to do is catch yourself when you start comparing yourself to someone else's standard. We're not here for that. You're on your own journey. So stop trying to replicate what someone else is doing. I promise you, if you just prioritize yourself day in and day out, and you work with someone to help you do that, you'll find a sustainable for yourself on this long journey. I'm going to add a note here, kind of go back to what I had mentioned earlier at the beginning of the podcast. It is not healthy to lose weight and gain it back, which is called yo-yo dieting. And that puts such a harm on the human body and also the brain. It is not healthy nor safe to be doing that. So if you're constantly finding yourself reducing weight or chasing weight loss and then having a large upswing and then you go back down and then you come back up, it's almost healthier, if debatably healthier, if you were to just not lose weight in the first place. The ups and the downs and the swings, our bodies thrive in homeostasis for weight loss. Again, I would rather see you lose the weight once, keep it off, then find your sustainable standard. Say you have 30 pounds to lose. Well, if we do 1.5 to 2 pounds we'll just call it an even 2 pounds per week, 30 pounds to lose. That's 15 weeks. Okay. So we'll say roughly 15 to 20 weeks. All right. Which is about 4 to 5 months. Not bad. And you never have to do it again if you have the appropriate exit strategy from that quote unquote diet, that weight loss diet, and you develop or create your sustainable standard after you've done that for 5 months. Because how you eat and how you live to lose weight is not how you should eat and live to maintain said weight loss. Because one requires a calorie deficit and another does not. And one requires to be overly meticulous. One requires to be quite meticulous with your inputs and outputs, meaning your activity and your consumption or your nutritional intake. But you should live a little bit more flexibly and enjoyably when out of that weight loss phase. So there should not be 30-pound weight loss from something like 75 hard, and then you just go back to what you were doing before. You'll just gain all that weight back. You see where I'm coming at with this? Like, this is very important. And I think a lot of people are going to hear this and resonate quite well because it's all too common. The statistics on all of what I'm talking about are just too high. And we have to find a gray area. These fad diets and things, they're all black and white. 75 hard, black and white. You don't get a day off. You don't get an extra rest day. It doesn't take into account if you went to the ER one day. We have to find a sustainable standard in the gray area for long-term success. Point blank, period. to recap here, if you want to live a healthy, long, abundant, vibrant lifestyle for the rest of your life, it is not going to be found in a fad diet, in a trend, in a short, quick fix challenge of any sort. You must integrate something into that lifestyle, okay? And it might look different for everybody. For me, maybe it's 10,000 steps daily, and that's my sustainable standard. For others, maybe it's just simply getting in 3 meals a day consisting of protein in each of them. Maybe that's someone else's sustainable standard. Maybe someone else's is just, for a moment in time, taking a step outdoors to see the sunlight because they're so busy indoors with their high performing job that requires them to be indoors for 80 hours a week. On that note, stop comparing yourself to someone else's standard. Let's set your sustainable. Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 1 of the new NC podcast. I cannot wait to do this weekly. I have a lot of things to say. Been wanting to start this for several years now. And so if you care to tune in weekly, give us a follow, show some support, and let's get you where you want to be on this journey we call health and fitness.